Hello to my fellow history lovers and people that think if I learn something new today, it will be a great day. So today we're going to talk about the Siege of Boston. And I want you to remember that there's a nice logic to this. This is sort of the fourth interaction between the British and the Americans. So it started with the Battle of Lexington. Remember, that's when Gage said, hey, I'm going to try to go get their gunpowder in Concord, but the rebels stand up to him, and not only stand up to him, but basically chase him back to Boston, and he's stuck there. The second interaction is the Battle of Ticonderoga, where Arnold and Benedict Arnold, future traitor, and Ethan Allen, they think, we might be going to war with these guys. We better get some forts and cannons. So they end up taking Fort Ticonderoga, which has a lot of artillery. The third interaction, if you remember, was the start of this siege. So basically, Gage is stuck in Boston. Really, he's kind of hiding out there because he can't march out. He's under siege. And then came the Battle of Bunker Hill because the British and the Americans are both looking at Breed's Hill and Bunker Hill and think whoever has that is going to have the high ground. So the British wake up one morning and realize, oh, the rebels beat us to it, and the rebels are out there looking down at them, and they think, well, that can't happen. And there is the Battle of Bunker Hill, in which the British will finally come out of Boston, take the hill, but the problem is they're going to lose over 40% of the attacking force, a lot of their officers, and they're afraid for another face-on attack. They basically go into defense mode, and they stay within their parameters. They're still basically under siege. So then the next part is, how does this siege end? And that's where we're at today. I promise you, by the way, by the time you do all of these, and we're going to have a game, there's 23 of these interactions, and at the end we're going to play a game and see if you how many of them you know, but you will know more than probably 80% of Americans about our history. So anyway, keep in mind, the Americans lost the Battle of Bunker Hill, but Boston is still under siege. So what happens next is Washington is finally there. And he looks and he says, you know what? Those Dorchester Heights, that's even higher than Breed's Hill. And so again, during the night, you'll notice this pattern. They secretly bring a bunch of cannons up to Dorchester's Heights. And how do they have the cannons? Well, remember, Ethan Allen and Arnold took over Fort Ticonderoga, and a brilliant guy named Henry Knox, who was a bookseller of all things, brings all of these cannons to Washington. Washington in the night, again, brings them up to the top of the hill, and the British once again wake up to think, holy cow, they're up there with a lot of cannons. We have no choice but to evacuate the city. And so they evacuate Boston. So anyway, that is our next battle, and we'll go on to battle number 5 next. Thanks for letting me share.